My name is Stephi Fernald, and last year I joined a young tech company right upstairs in Industrious, and we build tools and platforms for parents, teachers, and students to work together for the common goal of improving outcomes for students with special needs. We truly believe that a student's disability status should not dictate, whoop, we're here. All right, so just to pick up where we were, we truly believe that a student's disability status should not dictate their success in life or their journey through their education. So that said, we are a team of parents, teachers, and former students with special needs. But most of all, we are advocates and allies. I want to tell you a little story that came out of an interview I had just a few weeks ago with a mom of 2 kids with special needs. She has an older daughter named Amanda, and she's in elementary school. So a little bit about Amanda. She is nonverbal because she has a chromosomal disorder, but she can speak through an iPad, communicate, speak. She is in the general classroom, but multiple times throughout the day, she leaves for therapies like speech therapy, occupational therapy. Just as important as those therapies is her being integrated with her peers in that general classroom. I mean, as it would be for any kid, emotional and intellectual development is often tied to being among your peers. So if you remember back to your own childhood, or if you have kids, Valentine's Day is the day where you decorate your shoebox, you cut the little hole in the middle, and you make those Valentines, like those Star Wars, Disney, Finding Nemo. You write your name on it, write everybody's name on it. It's kind of a big deal. So Amanda made her own, and given that she is nonverbal, being able to hand out those Valentines is a really important part of her communication and her connection with her peers. But on Valentine's Day this year, while Amanda was out for speech therapy, her teacher forgot about Amanda, and her peers handed out their Valentines without her. Her teacher was mortified that she had made this error, and everyone felt bad, but the emotional damage had already been done. In telling me this story, her mom bowed her head in tears and said, "I really don't blame the teacher. She's overwhelmed, but it won't get any better than this. So what am I supposed to do? Special ed is at the bottom of the totem pole." So as a team, how do you respond to this? When these parents have been let down, students feel ashamed, and teachers feel undersupported and overwhelmed, there's only one way to move forward. You design for trust. So, sounds great, but how do we do that? We start with prioritizing our users' needs first. So yes, designing for trust sounds great. We're a young tech company. Building trust in our brand is an integral part of our success, but that's not the kind of trust that I'm talking about today. I'm talking about building the trust between parents and teachers first. That's really what makes SpedX possible. I joined SpedX last fall, eager to be a part of a team designing tools for parents and educators in special education. But I'm learning that we have to slow down and start by designing for trust for them first. So where do we start? I asked questions, I listened, and I observed. I talked to designers from Airbnb, listened to leadership from IDEO, talked to my mentors from the Home Depot, and most of all, I worked with my team of engineers, product strategists, and partners as we talked to our users. First and foremost, as any information architect would tell you, we had to define what we were designing for. So, how do you design for trust? We had to gain an understanding of what really that meant. In our interviews, we listened to their fears. One teacher I spoke to was talking to me about being buried in paperwork. She told us, when it comes down to choosing between my paperwork and spending meaningful time with my kids, hands down, I drop the paperwork. But as a result, I am perpetually behind. She shared her fears that her students were not being properly prepared to thrive beyond the classroom. And so that became her focus, at the detriment of her being able to fill her bureaucratic obligations. In unpacking those fears with them, we uncovered their goals and their needs. Through these conversations, we compiled the ingredients for what trust looks like for these parents, for these teachers, and for these students. And we started to map out how all of this looked. So, we designed to be the bridge. In identifying this trust gap between the core members of a student's team, we see an opportunity for parents, students, and teachers to work together towards their common goal of student success. Each student and their team has their own unique journey, and SPEDX is their guide to keep all of the players connected and moving forward together. As Airbnb said so well in their reflections of their own product, we seek to minimize uncertainties in our product online so that we can enable for a meaningful experience offline in the real world. We set the stage for everyone on the board and then get out of the way. And like a good friend, we'll be there for you when you need us. Lastly, designed to be a constant. When it comes to a child's success in school, any combination of past disappointments, lack of communication or clarity, and constant change make the arena of special education particularly tender. When the environment is sensitive like this, the concept of permanence, a key element of design, establishes that critical sense of trust, something that teachers, students, and parents can rely on from year to year. In talking to one parent the other day, she described to me her incredible relationship that she had with her teacher of her daughter for the past 9 years. She said, "I have an amazing teacher, but I absolutely dread when I'll have to leave and start all over with someone else." There's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity to provide that stability and that constance, that steadiness in moments where parents or teachers have to take leaps of faith as their students work towards progress in their education. With these ingredients in mind, we believe that once trust takes root, long-standing biases and barriers can begin to fall away and powerful teamwork can emerge. So, in honor of Amanda and all of the teachers and all of the parents that we're talking to, the more we are able to design for collaboration that instills trust, bring in and involve those parents and those teachers and those students, we can introduce avenues for fresh thinking in the areas that need it the most. And that's when we'll begin to be discovering pathways for a better future. Thank you.